Welcome back to the WGL EU Finals. This has already been a bit of a phenomenal day, seeing Penta best, well, the best team of the whole season. Supreme are out of it, and now we're on to the second semi-final. Tornado ROX up against Virtus.PRO. What are your initial thoughts on this head-to-head? It's a hard one, right?
This is a really similar school in tanks, similar play. I would give at the moment slight advantage to Virtus because I think they really stepped up toward the end of the season, and I think they want revenge.
I tend to agree. Daki, your thoughts on this?
Virtus is so experienced. I mean, they have been together for so long. This team has been together for so long as well. It's pretty nice. I mean, they're the only team as well that doesn't have a replacement other than Penta. So they're playing with their full team. They're prepared. They're the underdog even in this entire tournament. So I mean, I'm still going for Virtus.
Yeah, it's a little unique to see Virtus.PRO regarded as not the favorite essentially on paper. You of course saw Supreme having the 11-0 season, which was almost unheard of, and well, Virtus.PRO is the only other team who's ever seemed to manage something close to that. But let's talk about Tornado ROX first, at least. Their online season ended in about a 9-2 record, pretty respectable, and only losing out to very good teams as well. That's the big point here. How do you think they match up directly to Virtus.PRO? As you said, quite similar styles here. Will that clash, or do you think they could maybe work with that?
They lost only to Virtus and Supreme during the season, but they were a bit shaky. They had 2 wins that were in tiebreaker against a team like ASAP and Synergy.
Yep.
Synergy, I think, actually wrecked them. So this will be a tight game, I think, and we can see by the picks the second game is Lakeville, and none of them played during the season, not a single time. We have no idea what to expect. What will each out of them pull out of the hat?
Well, it's the question we're going to find out very soon. But of course, you've heard our initial thoughts on the matchup. Let's hear from Tornado ROX themselves.
The favorite moment was the game with the Kazna. So if we won, we get to the finals. We lose, we don't get. For the season finals, we qualified and we feel great because the first year, for new team, great feeling. On the finals, we miss Kazna because they like punishing Russians, we like punishing them. In this tournament, I say those teams who get in the finals, they're very equal teams, so we are scared of the old teams and they're scared of us. In the season we train very hard, and for the finals we train more harder. So I think so. With nothing changed, we play the same, training the same. So training for the win.
Training for the win. So, finishing second place throughout the regular season, looking comfortable overall. Let's talk about those players that they have in this lineup, because it is quite a factor to these boys. They've certainly shown some very impressive individual prowess. Mojo, very briefly, who stands out to you in this lineup?
Definitely Varsity and Annihilator are sticking out. We were all wondering why Annihilator didn't play with School Bus on Grand Final, but after it...
Internal issues.
Yeah. We saw he joined here, like he was one of the key players, biggest damage dealer, one of the guys that brought in victories in tight moments, like we all know that. Yeah. So this is a brand new team that practically came together on the start of the season.
And Daki, looking at this, of course, you kind of looked at Supreme as almost the all-star lineup coming together, but these guys certainly not far behind. They have a mixture of some very, very good individuals. Yourself, are you in the same boat as Mojo, our friend here, that these two players stand out to you, or is there anyone else that catches your eye?
They do stand out to me, also on the negative side, because the school bus guys did tell me that Annihilator is a difficult person. So he seems to mend well in this team, though. So I want to see how it goes for them. I mean, they seem pretty happy, and this entire season they've been playing more loose than other teams.
Yep.
Like they just drive around the maps and they kill people. But yeah, the Annihilator. Zik has also come into the lineup instead of Streko. He's been pretty good. He was a former Mine player. So this is like a team mixed up out of Russian Gold League talent
Now, let's also talk about that Vorsic factor, because in this matchup, surely it's going to be in Virtus.PRO's mind to a degree. Is there going to be some bad blood, do you think? Is that going to affect them? Is there going to be maybe a little bit of rivalry, wanting to prove someone wrong? Or do you think they may be over that after the regular season?
I think Virtus are too big professionals to allow it. I am not sure about Vorsic's part.
Although I'm pretty sure that Kusok still, like, I speak to him a few times and he always remembers Vorsic as, guy, season 4, yeah. Where he,
that guy.
Yeah, that guy from season 4. He loses twice, LAN.
Well, nice to see Virtus.PRO, holding their previous teammates in high regards. But anyway, speaking of Virtus.PRO, the giants of tanks, let's just call them, they've had some shaky history. They started the season a little poorly, but they did bring it back. But we'll get into that in a moment. Let's actually see from them themselves.
Our most favorite moment in the season, it was when we lost Synergy 1-5, but it honestly was 0-6 because they gift for us one round.
We felt great when we qualified on the 3rd place, because now we have the chance to redeem ourselves and take 1st place. We expect from the finals great games, because our opponents are very strong teams, but we still hope to win. It feels great to play in front of a live audience, because we feel their support, so we try to show our best.
What our biggest strengths, I will repeat, in our team it is responsibility, discipline and clear vision. We want to tell our fans thank you for cheer for us, for support when we win, when we lose in our mind, because you write for us message of helping, that's all will be good. Virtus.PRO, you won. It's amazing for us, it helps us, and it really matters. Thank you.
Virtus.PRO were the demigods for quite some time in tanks. Mostly the most feared opponent you could imagine throughout the previous season until it got to the finals. Most of the time they always seem to have a couple of issues, let's say, starting out on the 2nd day, and they always seem to shy away a little, being beaten by varying amounts of teams. But no one ever took them lightly. That's a big thing here. They are looking for redemption, and this is their stage. But against Tornado ROX, Daki, how do you think they're going to fare? Because the start of their season was not a pretty picture.
Yeah, Tornado ROX, I mean, Virtus, they've been pretty good at the end of the season, not in the beginning of the season. But when it comes to LAN, like you said, there always seems to be something going wrong. But this time, they're not favorite. They actually had to fight their way through the playoffs. Yep. They had to a really hard match against Kazna. They had to fight their way here. They know what's on the line. They're trying to make a good show and show what they can do.
Mojo, you're of the same mind here, because I think we all noticed how shaky their start was, but they seemed to really smooth things out towards the end.
I think they are much harder opponent than they were during the season, and they will show here what they know. Also, we must mention Virtus as organization announced they will not be in tanks, so they have to prove here a lot.
Yeah, of course, either to try and, let's say, keep Virtus.PRO supporting them, or look for new opportunities. So it's a really massive proving point for these guys. And of course, the next thing to my mind is, as you said, for once, they're not the favourites. That removes maybe a little bit of pressure they've always had before them. And do you think Tornado ROX, looking at their point of view, they've not got the biggest amount of pressure, but they came in looking good. They weren't obviously upset. Who's got the pressure in this situation?
I'm just going to say, like, on grand finals, I remember Deluxe saying after they lost,
yep,
finally, we're not champions, so you guys have nothing more to prove here.
Well, it's a big factor. It honestly is. And we saw that in the first matchup, more than anything. Supreme just crumbling. And Penta, who had no pressure, coming up through the, let's say, the tougher aspect of things. But Daki, your thoughts on this one? You've been the underdog before and fought your way through some really big victories there. And is it going to be an aspect here for Virtus.PRO?
Yes, of course, because I spoke to Shanish as well before this event started, and he's like, there's a lot of pressure on us. I want to see how we deal with it. They didn't deal with it.
Yep.
But Virtus is like more relaxed. They didn't boot camp. They always boot camp normally in Moscow. They didn't do it this time. They played from their own line. They're more relaxed, I think. I've seen them go out as well. So
Wow.
but ROX actually did a boot camp. They've trained a lot for this. So I think the pressure is more on them than Virtus because they've actually prepared a lot. Been here for a while, boot camped. They're super prepared. But I think the pressure is more with them to prove how good they are at LAN. Because it's okay being like third in the season, but now they need to actually prove what they're worth.
Yeah, it's going to be
Also,
massive.
ROX has one player less, same as
Negative,
but they
negative
have
as well.
yes, but they have a really, as you would say in sport term, good bench, so they can replace him, I think.
Well, we're going to find out how that holds up. And the maps, if I'm not mistaken, are going to be Ruinberg and Lakeville. I'm going to push you guys for a prediction before we head over to Melly there. You're going to start us off, Mojo. What are you going to go for here?
Oh, all stats matter here, nothing anymore, because I saw last games of Virtus and they presented really decisive play with snappy reactions. So I'm going with them here with like 3-1.
Like quite a strong victory then to start off with for Virtus, but we'll see what ROX can bring. And Daki?
I've never been impressed with Virtus, their Ruinberg play. It's always been hit or miss in my eyes. They've not got the greatest stats on it, even though it improved towards the end of the season. It's not one of their better maps. I'd rather see them on maps like Himmelsdorf. So I'm saying, and Tornado ROX has been absolutely brilliant on Ruinberg for the entire season. So I'm saying like 3-1 on Ruinberg for ROX, and Lakeville is...
Okay. Up in the air for both.
We have no clue what we're going to see on Lakeville. Nothing.
That's a blank.
It's unbelievable that's come down now into this game, but we're going to find out how that goes. We're going to stick to first map predictions, and Melly, that means the guys out there are going to have to work for that second map. They're going to have to put their money on the line for this one, or the chance to get some gold at least. How do you think they're going to do out there?
It's crazy. I mean, when we look on the past predictions regarding Virtus.PRO, we saw, well, a significant drop in votes in their names. So usually we always had those 90%, 95, 98, even 99 sometimes.
Oh, they were always up in the top 90s.
Exactly. And when we went towards the end of the season, it plummeted to around 60-ish. But we're back to 90. It's 90% for Virtus.PRO, 10% for Tornado ROX. People at home, they've decided, and it seems like they expect a lot from Virtus.PRO, and maybe, as you guys said, they're a lot more free. They have less pressure on their shoulders, and maybe it's their time to shine after the season.
I hope so.
But the vote is still open, so head over to facebook.com/WGLEU and get involved by voting for your favorite team by simply predicting the exact scoreline and clicking on the regarding team logo. You get a chance of winning one of 10 bonus codes and also a Logitech gaming headset.
Ooh, very nice. That sounds pretty good. I might have to sneakily do that while we're watching the game, hopefully. But guys, I think that kind of sums up our thoughts about the matchup. I'm so excited to see this. Virtus.PRO can break hearts sometimes when you watch them in finals. I don't know what we're going to get from them today. I hope it's going to be a good match, and I can imagine the casters are ready as well and dying to get this one started. So, Ollie, Mitch, take it away.
Thank you very much, Lauren. We are ready, as always, for this next semi-final. If the first, Oliver, was anything to go on, this one is going to be an epic struggle.
Unbelievably epic first semi-final, just truly incredible. The first upset of today. There could be a second one coming up as well in the second semi-final. Of course, Tornado ROX versus Virtus.PRO. The United that's just having a little bit of a breakdown, but I think this one's going to be slowed down a little bit. I think it's going to be more of a slog because the teams have more matching styles. Like we were talking about Penta Sports being that team which could just throw everything into the air and prove us all wrong and show us completely different tactics. They did exactly that. But I think Virtus and I think Tornado have kind of this Russian, slow, methodical, like an X, Y, and Z kind of style, which will definitely, complement each other more.
So these two teams went head-to-head in round 2. In fact, the same round that our previous semi-finals went head-to-head in as well. Ruinberg and Himmelsdorf were the maps played, as well as Ghost Town. It was a tiebreaker that Virtus.PRO won.
Yep.
However, Ruinberg was very much a strong map for Virtus.PRO, and they really sort of choked on Himmelsdorf here. And then we throw Lakeville into the mix now. I mean, what impact do you think that map is going to have on this match?
I don't think Lakeville's going to be anything we can really predict. I mean, these two teams, like most of the other teams, they haven't played Lakeville at all, like 0 rounds each. And, they've been playing a lot of Ruinberg, Himmelsdorf. The biggest kind of thing I want you to think about it is Virtus.PRO's performance against Kansas and Nuremberg in that first pre-playoff when they managed to actually qualify for the finals. That was truly an impressive performance by Virtus, and I think if they manage to have that kind of ability, it definitely will work for them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your refresher course into the map of Ruinberg.
Ruinberg, a mixed-type map. The defending team starts the battle on the green, and the attacking team starts at the central square of the town. Bases are located quite far from each other. Both bases are better controlled from the village. It's better to attack the first base through the top direction with the help of several well-armoured heavy tanks. For the attack on the second base, it's better to use a more mobile setup and either play through the centre or split forces. In general, the map is not easy to play on. Teams often use blind shots and risky shifting of the forces from one flank to another.
Earlier today, we saw this map, and it definitely didn't deliver what we expected to see. But now, Virtus.PRO on the attacking side here, up against Tornado ROX, and they are in the red.
Super light lineup from Virtus.PRO with a lot of T54s. They got the MT25. Of course, that MT25 just immediately will be going up to that right side, and Creed's actually going for the cap, and a little bit of damage going between both teams, but I think Virtus has that zero line secured. And at the moment, Virtus just keeping every single corner kind of crossed off and making sure that Tornado ROX can't actually peek anything.
Important to note here that the lineup for Tornado ROX is a little bit different to what we're used to seeing. Crespix is in, Zik is back in, of course, Kaptolika, as we failed that pronunciation, is in the lineup here. Zik does drop down, he's the first casualty here. Virtus.PRO just trying to work around Tornado ROX, pick them apart.
Yeah, I think this is going, pretty evenly right now. You can see Virtus.PRO have control over the middle road. They got to be careful of the LTTB and the IS3 up north. That could be a completely different factor they didn't actually think about. But Creed's getting in the cap. That's pretty normal because Virtus.PRO has control of that zero line. They know that they can actually get the cross shots and make sure that Tornado ROX can't peek anything. But you can see the MX-3090 of Virtus.PRO heading up north now. They've got the T-54 hull down in the middle. And, if that MX-3090 finds that LTTB with support from the IS3, could go bad.
Coca-Cola able to get some good damage done from the middle of the map, and Crespix is forced to withdraw. Bishop, though, took a lot of damage earlier on in the piece, and that's why that health point totals are quite close together. Breakneck, star player for Virtus.PRO, definitely one of their highlights, putting some shots down towards the northern side here, but Coca-Cola's had to make some very quick readjustments here as the Armageddon has pushed up on towards him in that IS3. He's got to hold down that lightweight. He's got to hope to bounce some shots and hope for some backup at some stage here. He's just trying to hold his ground right now, but still, look at him focusing on picking this shot as accurately as he can. He does hit on towards the Armageddon, but you can see on the minimap, the rest of Tornado ROX, they're pushing down, they're mobilizing, they are on the move.
A bit of a suicide move here from Coca-Cola, but he does, at least lock down the Armageddon. Armageddon will be able to find him the next shot pretty easily. But Coca-Cola does a lot of damage. He's brought him down to a one-shot. That's good. But Kaptolika keeping Just Cause back, and you can see Virtus.PRO are starting to lose some hit points, but still even as that shot just came out. And I think, Virtus.PRO do seem to be stuck, but you got an MX-3090 2 versus 1 in that right side. It's a T-54, actually.
Pavel here, looking towards Vorsen. Vorsen with 4 shots, but he didn't have his head turned in the right direction. He's going to take a lot of damage very quickly. He's trying to hold his ground against Pavel. He can finish him off, but it's going to have to take one extra shot. The roll was not great for Vorsik there. He will get the kill on towards Pavel, though, and be able to back away. The damage is done. Tornado ROX here, health point-wise, it's even, but they have the extra tanks on the field. It is a 6v4 scenario. Guns in the game are so important right now, but Just Cause is looking to remediate this one. No, he takes a big hit from the Armageddon. That's a massive hit, and he's not able to connect his shot towards his opponent. So that is more health points being spent on trying to finish that one off. No, another bounce, he didn't connect, and the Armageddon is going to get 2 huge hits towards Just Cause. That is disastrous for Virtus.PRO.
He's probably going to have to get 3 hits there because Just Cause only does 253 damage, but obviously 250 the average. Does finally find him, but that's the damage done. And, Virtus.PRO need to start to get in this game. You can see Breakneck 1 versus 1 against Kopilika, but he knows very well that the IS3 is there in support. He is 2 versus 1, so it's only a matter of time. He has to make a split-second decision.
The rest of Virtus.PRO are busy in this part of the map. You can see Kusok now getting 2v1 by Positive and Vorsik, and he's going to take a lot of damage. Vorsik has a full auto-loaded clip to use, and Kusok's not looking at him at all. This is freer damage than I've ever seen, and Kusok will go down now. Only 3 tanks left for Virtus.PRO. Breakneck, gets tracked and is forced to repair very quickly. He's hoping to penetrate some shots towards the Annihilator. With only 1 left in his auto-loaded clip, he won't be able to make much damage stick. And Vorsen with 1 left, looking towards Just Cause. Just Cause can sustain through 1 hit from that 5100 at this stage. And Bishop is waiting around the corner. He knows he's a one-shot positive there. It's a clean-up crew effort here from Tornado ROX. They've got the big tanks, they've got the extra guns, and they will clean up this first round.
Yeah, the first round will go the way of Tornado ROX. A little bit hairy at some points, but I think they were ahead pretty much for the majority of that round. Virtus.PRO just seemed to be a little bit lost in some respects, but Bishop and Just Cause, the two left, Crespix just managing to bounce that shot against the bouncy forward frontal glashes of that T54 lightweight. So yeah, this is going to be game over. I think Virtus.PRO, they tried really hard and they just seem to be a little bit lost in some respects, but they look like they're on form. And you know, getting Tornado ROX, which has been the best Ruinberg team of this season, to 1,400 sub hit points is definitely a good start.
That's right. I mean, we know Tornado ROX wanted this map. This is their pick. They opted for defense first, and a comfortable way for them to start things off here. And this is exactly the fashion in which Penta started their campaign against Team Supreme. 1 minute and 35 seconds remain, and Virtus.PRO are doing nothing but bleed the clock down right now. If time runs out, they do lose being the attacking side, so they're just trying to confer between one another, just trying to discuss things and change things up for the next round. I mean, they are the attacking side of Ruinberg. It is difficult. Our map video said it. Our statistics have also indicated that fact. So Virtus.PRO shouldn't be too down about this one here. Just finding their feet. There are plenty more maps to come.
Yeah, probably just discussing exactly what went wrong, what went right in that previous round. Not much went right, let's be honest here, but they definitely made some interesting moves, and Positive should be able to find Bishop quite easily. Does, and that second shell just secure in the first round goes towards Tornado ROX.
So Tornado ROX looking happy about that one here. LAN, well, the offline environment is definitely you know, a bit of a mystique about it for them. They really haven't had much experience in that regard, so this is great for them to just settle. Virtus.PRO, however, are veterans of the offline scene. They have been here in this studio before, and in pretty similar circumstances as well, of course, losing that final to School Bus in the Season 4 finals. You can just see conversation being had between these guys. Here's a replay here. This is a very chaotic round, I'd have to say.
Yeah, it is. I think the most important thing was Breakneck going 2 versus 1 against an IS-3 nail TTB. I think if he had got that secure, he would have been able to make shots towards the middle road, and that would have been a lot better. Then this kind of 1 versus 1 situation against the Armageddon brings him down to a 2-shot. It's just a little bit strange. You definitely don't want to be going against an IS-3 with your T54 lightweight, because the likelihood that you're going to bounce one shot is fairly high, and the IS-3 will just simply be able to crush you. 1,250 hit points versus 1,500. And obviously that BL9, just a massive caliber gun compared to the T54 lightweight. So yeah, solid round there from Tornado ROX. 2.6k damage in AMX 1390, AMX 5100. By far the highest damage dealer for Tornado ROX this season. And it's so far, we haven't seen, you know, Tornado ROX tested that much, even though it was close towards the end. Crespix seems to be doing his job.
Absolutely, and of course, as was sort of alluded to on the desk, Vorsic is out for revenge against, of course, his old team that we saw in Season 4. He was a part of that lineup, and in fact, it was last time in Cologne that sort of sealed his fate in terms of being removed from that particular lineup. So now he's here to show them he's learned a few tricks, and he's got some buddies that are happy to dish out some pain with him. So Tornado ROX starting off nicely. You can see fairly upbeat, all of them here. Vorsic generally not a smiley kind of guy. Like to keep it fairly straight down the line. Now, Virtus.PRO there, not opting for a very heavy lineup. They saw they ran a lot of lightweights into those IS-3s. Do we go heavier if you're Virtus.PRO? Do they try and throw in some of those IS-3s or play around, I guess, the heavier lineup of ROX better?
I think they need to stick to their plan, and I haven't seen Virtus.PRO pick the heaviest lineups this whole season. Yeah, okay, on the defensive side, they were one of the first teams to pick like the full IS-3 lineup with a couple of 5100s. But on the attacking side, it's always been about those lightweights in combination with the slightly heavier tanks. I think Virtus got close. I think there were some obvious mistakes, but they just need to execute better. I think they need to stick to their plan, and you know, in true Virtus.PRO-esque fashion, they're doing exactly the same thing they did last time, at least at the start.
So they clearly thinking that execution was the only major error they made last round. Let's see if that was in fact the case. Karitz now moving up to that MT25, just a cheeky little sprayed shot in the direction of Zik, hoping to catch on towards him. He won't, but he'll give the cap a little bit of a tickle and do first little bit of spotting here. Only Zik was revealed. He was the only one lit, whereas Bishop and Karitz both visible right now to Tornado ROX here. Setting up in that stronghold inside that village there. The Russian bunker was what Still Mojo called it, and how appropriate in this case now as Bishop takes a second hit towards him. Has to be careful.
Yeah, that Russian bunker was definitely coined back in the Ural Steel days when Ruinberg was the only map played. And there was definitely one of the more favoured tactics by a lot of the teams. Of course, the Russians definitely came out with that one first. But yeah, Crete going into the cap once again. Good support from every single angle. And you can see that MX 3090 at Breakneck just wants to go up north. But both teams with the same setup, the same start. I would be wondering if Virtus.PRO is going to send that T54 lightweight, which remember, suicided against the Armageddon. It was Coca-Cola versus the Armageddon, up with Breakneck to try and get some sort of overmatch up there. But you can see the LTTB ×2 and the IS3 of Tornado ROX are switching things up. They are starting to creep their way through that city area.
There will be a 3090 waiting for them and two 54 lightweights held in reserve for Virtus.PRO for just this kind of push right now. Breakneck receives a shot from Kapolika and is forced to back away. He knows now there is some presence for Tornado ROX in the top part of the city, and they may elect to push on towards them. Virtus.PRO turtling quite heavily around the middle road, and you can see a push from the IS3 in towards that middle road. That's the Armageddon. You can see him there. He's going towards Coca-Cola and Breakneck. He might have caught himself in a little bit of a tough situation. Or Breakneck getting some airtime there as he pushes straight in towards that IS3. He will take the hit for his teammate there, and he just wants to let that burst damage rip, and he does. The Armageddon get blown up very, very quickly here, as Bishop is the one to secure that kill. Kuzok is on the cap, but he wants to push up with Povel here to put some pressure on towards this ironclad defense for Tornado ROX in the city. Here comes the damage trades here of Awesome as well. Getting a lot of damage actually coming out from Karit on an MT25, a decent amount, but he has to make it stick. He has to hope it's enough now, as Vorsic still has 4 shots left. He wants to use them. He bounces one off Kuzok, doesn't connect it. Povel picks up positive now, and Bishop is going to get turned onto by the double LTTB IS3 composition here of Tornado ROX. Back and forth, the shots go. The Virtus.PRO looking pretty good right now. They do have the lead in terms of health. They're playing this one well.
They're doing very well because the rotate from the north, though the IS3 and the double LTTB just weren't in position to actually help the rest of their team, so Virtus.PRO could push into that eastern side. They took a lot of damage in that middle fight, but it just simply didn't matter. That eastern side is crucial. It's the higher ground. It's the area where you can get to the caps pretty easily, especially that number 2 cap. And also, you know, they got them in the perfect place. They got Tornado ROX in the perfect position down that middle road. You just get great shots against them. Cap on the way, so they got the crossfire. If Tornado ROX take the bait, they'll surely die.
Annihilator. Kapolika. Last 2 tanks left here, both lit and visible to Virtus.PRO right now. They can really just choose how they want to go in for this one. But the Annihilator does still manage to secure himself a kill. With 3 tanks on the cap, it's going to put a lot of pressure on this IS3 of the Annihilator to push up and do something about it. There will be a lightweight in the middle waiting for it, but the Annihilator has a lot of health. He can sustain through some hits he takes. He's happy to invest some in getting the reset as well. He spotted Karit. He does get that reset, the Annihilator. A lot of small guns trained in his direction, but it does do a lot of damage now. Kapolika goes down, and the Annihilator will be surrounded, and he will be summarily executed by Virtus.PRO as they manage to pick themselves up an attacking round, and not a moment too soon. Just as Tornado ROX seem like they're setting their feet and getting solid for these next 2 games, Virtus.PRO uproot them.
Nice stuff from Virtus.PRO. 1 round now on the board, an attacking round. That's exactly what they want. You can only hope for 1 attacking round on Ruinberg. They've managed to get it. Solid all-round tactics. I mean, 2,000 damage ahead on the attacking side. Definitely something you want to be looking for. And that will definitely calm their nerves a little bit and make sure Tornado ROX stay on their feet. They have the pressure, they have the onus on them now to actually pick up one of their own attacking rounds, which of course they'll be going to in the next one. But yeah, I think most important thing was that Virtus.PRO push in the middle. Perfect timing. They managed to catch Tornado ROX when they were actually repositioning. If that IS3 and double LTTB had come onto the back of Virtus.PRO, the 2 T54s and the MX 3090, those would have died easily because they would have been sandwiched in the middle. But because Virtus.PRO picked the right time, pushed forwards, took down those IS3s, got that central road, which allowed the heavier tanks from Virtus to go up into that eastern village, take control of that, have the angles to pick off those tanks. There's really not much Tornado ROX could have done when they did manage to get into the positions.
See the Armageddon getting jumped on here. So this is Virtus.PRO's, this is their adaptation, because last time this happened, it was just Coca-Cola left to deal with the Armageddon on his own. It was a very aggressive push in by that IS3, the Armageddon. He actually pushed straight down onto the road. Now, is this LTTB IS3 push, it seems a little bit too late here.
It definitely is too late. Again, it's a timing thing. Virtus.PRO managed to get it perfect. If it'd been in the position like 30 seconds to a minute later, Virtus.PRO would have definitely lost this. And it was a very close game when it came to those firefights. And, you know, these 2 LTTBs and the IS3 managed to win this engagement convincingly, but you can see those blue blobs on the minimap of Virtus.PRO just completely surrounding the red ones in the eastern village, and that's the most important thing. Highest damage dealer, the man we've been talking about a lot, the Annihilator, 1.2k for Tornado ROX. And Pavel in that T54 lightweight pushed in first with 2 kills as well, with 2,000 damage. Good stuff from him.
Good to see Virtus.PRO starting to find their feet. We did say towards the end of the season, these guys have improved. They're looking more dynamic. They're looking, like Dekilsor said, more decisive. They seem to, you know, their timing seems to be really well nailed in. And against a team, I guess, like Tornado ROX, who a little bit less experience, especially on the online or offline stage, should I say. Jitters come in there. Virtus.PRO are well drilled. This is very much the veterans versus the new blood. You know, a lot of people have assailed Virtus.PRO's position at the top of the ladder in recent times over the last couple of seasons. Obviously now, they didn't even finish in second place. They had to fight to qualify for the finals, but they're definitely showing us that they're here. They know what they're doing. They've been around the block a few times before.
Yeah, for Virtus.PRO, I mean, they've been the favourites going into every single finals, basically, excluding the grand finals, just the seasonal finals. And they've won 2 of them, but let's be honest, they've lost way too many. And this is the first time they go into the season finals where they're not the favourites. They're not the underdogs, but they're somewhere in the middle of the pack, which kind of begs the question, if Virtus.PRO can't win the finals here, when can they win it? Because they've been the favourites and they haven't been the favourites. If you can't win in both those situations, then you're just not working well as a team.
Well, maybe the underdog role suits Virtus.PRO that much more. Here we go, though, into our 3rd round, and we see the side change. Tornado ROX now have to attack because Virtus.PRO have snuck their attacking round off them. And Virtus.PRO would love to get 2 more on the board on the defensive side.
Yeah, they'd absolutely love that one. 2-0 right now for Virtus.PRO is exactly what they're looking for. Tornado ROX needs an attacking round. Lakeville could go either way, so both teams know, and having looked at that Team Supreme Penta game, they need to be going at least even into that map. So this is a very important round here for Tornado ROX. I mean, often that first round is where a team brings out something unique, something special, something different. And you can see a very similar start to Penta. They got the IS-3, they got the 2 lighter tanks, the T-54 lightweight and the T-37 towards that right side, and the heavier ones up north.
Kaptolika on your screen as I butcher his pronunciation yet again. He's on the cap. He's trying to be hidden in that T-37. It is a high-profile tank with a very low amount of camo, so he won't be unspotted for long, but he's just keeping tabs right now on Virtus.PRO as Tornado ROX start to move on towards the northern side of the map now. Only the IS-3 and the old TTB is there. What will Pavel do? Normally we see a 5100 up there to assist here, but you can see the push. It's not a fast push. They're using 2 IS-3s, and it's a double 30-90 of Zik and Forsen here. The second time today we've seen this permutation. A lot of burst damage available to them. You can see Pavel's on the move as quick as he possibly can.
The strange thing is that Bishop's just driving through the middle of a field, and Positive and Annihilate can just get great damage onto him as he goes across. He's not safe, and he'd probably go down.
He's not even behind the fountain yet. He has no protection. He may well drop if he doesn't get to safety very quickly. Still, that's a lot of health lost by Virtus.PRO. Bishop hangs on by just a fingernail, but he is still alive. He can still use his gun, at least in some way. Chusok's taking a lot of damage. Bishop is now getting involved in the fight. A shot towards Forsen will leave him a little bit bloodied. Kusok now will be aggressed onto by these 1390s. There'll still be another 2 shots left to take him down from those 90mm guns, so Virtus.PRO can hold on. But Justkos has taken a lot of damage as well. Breakneck looking towards Crespix here. Very aggressive push by him, and it might cost him his life. The Armageddon will poke his head around the corner and maybe get involved in this one as well. And yes, he does force Breakneck to withdraw, at least for the moment. But Tornado ROX do have the health point advantage. They've still got those 2 IS-3s on the cap in the north, and I don't know if Virtus.PRO have the capacity to dig them out.
I'm surprised the Armageddon's not in position to take down Just Cause and Breakneck. He really didn't help his team out, but the cap is getting very close to being completed. But reset does come in as Kreitz goes forwards, but still, Tornado ROX are firmly ahead in this game. They have the more tanks, they have the more hit points.
Virtus.PRO, they're buying time, but it is very expensive, and they don't have much longer, really, to hold on to this one here. Karitsa will finally go down. That was the reset tank, the important pivot of Virtus.PRO. And this is going to force them to push forward. Pavel with 2 shots. Kusok had a 1 shot, but he still gets some damage towards Zik. But Pavel's looking for Forsen right now. He might have to resort to a ram in a moment. There's all his shots done. He is out of it, and Kusok got picked up by Zik. So now Coca-Cola has to look towards that 3090. He still has 1 shot left. He possibly could do a little bit more damage on top of that one. Will be excellent. Pavel takes a shot there from an IS-3. No point capping right now as Tornado ROX want to go in for the kill.
I think they will be able to do this. A 3 versus 2 situation. Pavel a 1 shot and on reload. Zik takes him out. Beautiful play by him. The Armageddon does what's necessary, takes down Just Cause, which was always going to happen. The timing definitely going in favor of Tornado ROX, and Coca-Cola just left on his own. He might just be able to find 1. Doesn't find 2. Positive gets him down.
There we go. A fairly quick round by our standards there, and Tornado ROX. You can see an exultant cheer coming out from them in the arena. And they're definitely loving the atmosphere right now to pick up their attacking round. Virtus.PRO, they've made their statement, and Tornado ROX have responded saying that they are up for this challenge.
Yeah, this is going back and forwards between these two teams. You can see that they both have some venom to their attacking sides. Their defensive side's a little bit shaky. You can see, as Daki said on the desk, Virtus.PRO have been inconsistent on Ruinberg. 45% win ratio throughout the whole season, whereas, Tornado ROX sitting at 68. So I think it's a survival game for Virtus on a map they both know. And Virtus.PRO just needs to get the next round on the board and keep it all safe. 2.6k damage done by the Armageddon, 2,000 done by Positive, and Breakneck 1.6k. But of course, the most important factor there was Bishop just driving through the middle, doing no damage, and Coca-Cola in that IS-3, such a pivotal tank, just not being able to perform and do the damage that was necessary.
Well, Virtus.PRO now find themselves having to dig that little bit deeper. Bear in mind, of course, Tornado ROX have only lost 2 games all season. They were to Virtus.PRO and to Team Supreme. That was it. So they've been here before. They've been in this position against Virtus.PRO. Last time they went head-to-head, Ruinberg was played, but it was Virtus.PRO who went up 3-1 here. Tornado ROX are on a good... Well, they made good inroads, at least, to rewriting the history books here. As we head into our next map, they'd be loving to have an advantage here. On the attacking side, again, they're hard rounds to get. It's a difficult map to play. Tornado ROX have done this really well. They've worked around Virtus.PRO. Quite often, we do see attacking side wins when there's a good push towards the north and not enough backup. Virtus.PRO had their opportunities. Pova was there, but as I said, Bishop took so much damage pushing across the field.
Exactly. There's a lot of kind of cataclysmic failures there for Virtus.PRO. And right now, it's going exactly how it was going in the season, the regular group stage of the season. Tornado ROX walked out with a 1-3 scoreline on Ruinberg. So far, Virtus.PRO just needs to try and stop that from happening. They really just need to make sure they stop Virtus.PRO from, stop Tornado ROX from actually getting through this and tilting them a little bit. But they're still keeping cool. They've been in this situation plenty of times before. The one downside is that they had the advantage and they managed to give it away. That's definitely not a good thing for them. But every single man on your screens there has been to every single finals, basically. Of course, after the Season 1 finals, when it was called World Tanks Pro League, a different kind of team, but Kusuk was still there. He's the man in charge right now. He's the one you have to keep your eyes on. And the highest damage dealer for Virtus.PRO, surprisingly, for the whole season. Yep,
absolutely. Well, there's Bishop on your screen there. Thoughtful. He knows that he definitely contributed to the loss of Virtus.PRO in that last round. He got caught out of position. And it's interesting that we see such a disciplined player fall foul of such a thing. But there you go. See Vorsic there getting some hand slaps going on. The high fives are coming out. Tornado ROX wanting to build onto their momentum, to build upon what they've already constructed here, and hopefully build it into a win over their nemesis, Virtus.PRO here. They'd love to make their way in towards the final to take on Penta. They're feeling confident. Their score against Penta during the season was pretty darn decisive. And so far, they've shown themselves, to be, even though they're fairly new to the offline setting, definitely showing a lot of confidence. And you can see in both teams close enough to hear each other yell, whether it's in triumphantness or whether it's in rage. We'll have to see which team is in what position after this one. You can see Karitz there to the left of Bishop. He's a shot caller. He's a man playing those light tanks and making sure the tactics are running smoothly. All of Virtus.PRO players are ready to go, so we can jump into this one. I think, yes, we are. Here we go. Our 4th round on this one. Virtus.PRO want to go 2-2. They'd hate to be 3-1 down after this one and have the tables turned on them. They're on the defensive side. It's a good start, but they have to make it work.
So they've gone for the full IS3 lineup like they have done in the regular season. A lot of heavy tanks, a lot of HP. You can see, already starting 1,000 ahead. It worked for Penta already in the first semi-finals. Let's see if it works for Virtus as Kopelika just goes straight through the middle. He's got support there from the background from the IS3, but Virtus will be wanting to slow Tornado ROX down. They're obviously scared of that north push, which is happening straight off the bat. Just Cause running away, and Virtus need to stabilize this.
Positive's taken a lot of damage, though, in the middle of the map. But this is the push towards the north, the very impactful play from Tornado ROX. Bazik getting caught out, taking 733 damage. It's a good crossfire this time. Bishop, yet again, caught out in the open. He will go down, but maybe this was the plan this time. It's a lot of shots being used to try and take him out, and he just avoided 4 potentially killing blows. Now Crespix is low, very low. Zik is super low. Vorson just trying to fire shots and deal with Kusok, but he is sitting pretty behind that building, taking his sweet time. And Virtus.PRO have an excellent advantage going into this round, at least the second half of it now, as Kapolika is going to get caught out here with Breakneck and Just Cause looking straight down at him, but Just Cause has to connect. The LTTB can give you some funky little bounces. You saw it there again from Just Cause, but he is eventually dealt with by Breakneck. The push in the north, though. They're looking for Kusok, but he has managed to sustain through so much aggression, and now he will get taken on by the Armageddon. But a shot towards him. Kusok has friends, and they're doing some work, of course. It's a 5100, I think, off screen. No, yeah, it is Pobble, of course, laying down some damage as well. Kusok is staying safe, and it is so hard for Tornado to dig him out of this spot.
Yeah, Kusok has really had the best opportunity just to sit where he is, do the damage, really just stop Tornado ROX from going forwards. Now, they've got the advantage. They want to be pushing forwards and utilizing it.
It's time to unleash the Polar Bears as Kusok now was defensive earlier in the round. Now he's coming forward. Now he's getting aggressive. He's out for blood, and he's looking at the Annihilator now. He's that most forward IS-3 for Tornado ROX. He is in no man's land right now. He doesn't have a lot of support from his teammates either. Vorson just has to be careful behind the building. He's so fragile. So is Zik. Last 3 tanks left for Tornado ROX. Now, Crespix isn't even, well, he's on the cap, but he's a long way back here. They have to use these autoloaders very, very well. But it's just too much health for them to deal with now. Vorson, he's looking for Karitz right now, the easiest target, just the gazelle of the pack. But sure, he might get the LTTB, but Pobble will be looking to try and sit back and reload for as long as he possibly can. Breakneck picks up Zik. 2 tanks are left. Where's Kusok? He's off to the side there. So is Coca-Cola. The IS-3s, they're the big brothers coming in to protect their smaller teammates of Tornado ROX with 298 points of health left. Crespix will be trying to run away, but he is caught, and Coca-Cola will put him out of his misery.
Yeah, so 2-2 scoreline on Ruinberg. It's really, really a one-sided round there for Virtus.PRO. They definitely let it slip towards the end, but it was their win from the very start when they managed to do so much damage to those tanks that are pushing from the north. Of course, you know, Tornado ROX doing exactly the same thing twice. Most importantly, Kusok did his work. Bishop stayed alive for a long, long time, which allowed those tanks from that eastern village just to do great damage against the lighter ones. And, you know, once you're 2,000, 3,000 hit points behind, even if you have that tier 8 tank advantage, you're talking about another 2 tier 8s, which you've already lost in terms of hit points. And as long as you can push that advantage forwards, like Virtus.PRO did towards the end, you're definitely on for a win. 2,000 damage by Kusok. Fantastic work. Breakneck there in support as well, 4 kills and 1,800 damage, and not really anyone from ROX stepping up apart from Positive with 1.5k, but all around just very, very solid from Virtus.
So I'd love to break this down a little bit more now, just before we go on towards our next map. The lineup, the setup for Virtus.PRO looked quite similar as it did in their first game. They had, you know, Kusok and Povil up towards the top of the map, and Bishop was in the middle. Was it the early damage that made all the difference here? What was it? Yeah,
it was all the early damage. I mean, Bishop, he got taken down by the double IS-3s, which wasn't there for Tornado ROX this time. The double IS-3s on the corner, Bishop didn't realize that. You know, there's basically a road, and the road kind of sticks up a little bit, which means you can only really shoot the side or the top of the turret of the IS-3, which is of course very bouncy. It absorbs a lot. Side armor, spaced armor, and that basically, this time at least, allowed Bishop to survive for a longer amount of time. So I think it was one of the most important and the best factors for Virtus.PRO winning that one. But still, I mean, really solid round for them. They could only hope for a 2-2. And yeah, I think going on to Lakeville, totally different kind of map, totally different playstyle required.
Well, now that our first map for this second semi-final is done, Ruinberg is a 2-for-2 affair. It's time to pass over to our analyst and, of course, Lauren at the desk to take us into this one and see how things transpired.
Oh, thank you, Mitch. I guess I don't count quite as an analysis. I'll accept that, though. You know, I'll just be here as a host. It's fine. I'll take it very personally. Thank you, Mitch. But anyway, 2-2. Not what you two expected. Wrong already, like Ollie's stats.
We were both wrong.
Yeah. Not a great start here, but what do you make of the game so far? Because it was quite a close affair. It seemed very kind of typically, you know, styled, I guess, to these two teams. Very stoic, very, let's say standard. Yeah, slow. I was trying to avoid that word by all accounts, but no, slow and standard. But it ended up 2-2. What are our thoughts initially on these two teams?
Oh, Kusok has friends.
I think Kusok and his friends are like having a nice time right now. You know?
Yeah, shout out to Mitch. That's some lovely wording at the end of that one.
I'm confused, you know. First he says they're friends and then they're brothers. I think terminology.
Virtus basically won on counterplay both times.
Yeah, ROX just did the same thing twice.
First game, every time they lost. Second game, they improved. It's like their treat as a team. They're known for that. So I don't know why ROX didn't play a little more imaginative, like we saw in case of Penta, that was shifting tactics every round, left and right.
Maybe just the fact, of course, we have to bear in mind, ROX aren't exactly the most veteran players to offline events such as this. They're still, in comparison to Virtus.PRO, a little newer, a little greener to it. Do you think that may be a factor, or just maybe their mentality in the game?
Probably the limited number of tactics they actually prepared, so they were just executing the best they could, but it doesn't pay off twice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not against
certainly suffered.
Virtus. Virtus is the team that, you know, they read what you do and they see the same lineup. They already talked before the match, like in that match, like what we did wrong, and they will fix it for the next time. You have to, even if you don't have something prepared, you have to try something else. It's not worth it to do the same thing twice.
Well, let's actually take a look back at round 3 specifically and kind of go through some of the moments there, because this is one that you guys actually pointed out. A couple of errors were actually occurring for Virtus.PRO as well as Tornado ROX, and people were getting caught out here. And take me through what kind of caught your eye about this clip at least.
Well, basically, ROX already had the game.
Yeah.
But Virtus managed to come back, and then in one struggling moment, Pavel went with a full clip to kill 2 one-shot lights and
Didn't
shot
only kill
horribly.
one.
So
And
now,
he killed him even after receiving
Yeah.
damage missing.
And he let
So he
Kusuk
wasted
die,
time,
and Kusuk is
HP
alive.
shots.
Yeah. If Kusuk is alive, they can come back more. They can actually win that engagement, but he just wasted his entire clip. And
That was a Virtus chance for 3-1.
so is this Virtus.PRO maybe not focusing as individuals? Is it them saying, ah, screw it, we lost it by that point? Is this the mentality, do you think? Or are they maybe just not as focused as they'd thought? I'm not sure what to make of that. We've already seen individual errors costing Supreme a hell of a lot. Surely it can't be the same case again for Virtus.PRO.
Pavel has not had the best of seasons this season. It's numerous cases throughout the season where he just doesn't perform up to his skill-wise. I'm not sure what's going on, but that is something that is a player individual mistake. I mean, Kuritz can't do anything there. If he says go with Kusok and Coca-Cola push A-line and he only managed to kill one guy when there's 2 one-shots,
Yep.
then it's a player error. Maybe he's nervous, but he should be used to this environment.
Exactly. You could maybe expect that from a less experienced team. Maybe even some of the players on ROX's side of things, you could say, well, didn't make the right choice in that, maybe made a couple of small errors there, or even maybe Penta to a small degree. But still, seeing that from Virtus.PRO players, could get punished in the map coming up, but there's so little information on the next map. It's just, what do we get when we get there? Lakeville not been seen throughout the season by these two teams. Can I dare ask you for a prediction, or is there any way to call this?
Well, I would say for previous map it was characteristic that it's a team play, not some solo play, but here we can see different things. With the flanking maneuvers and spotting, this will make a huge differences. I don't know what kind of lineups of tanks they will pick. I mean, we trained with Virtus a long time ago, so there is no real point where you can say, okay, they maybe want to do this. They also what all servers played, so technically they're all prepared. They boot camped with some teams, so hush.
Yeah, it's so hard to predict this. I'm going to have to ask you as well, is there anything you can think of that might help you decide which way?
I think the team that goes aggressive on this map might win, because none of them are known to go really aggressive. So if Virtus, for example, goes really aggressive and manages to catch ROX off guard when they're doing the slow step-by-step play, then I see either team that does that winning it. But if they play standard, this could be another 2-2 and we go on to the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, but you know, back in the day, Virtus.PRO were never known for their creativity either.
And then they won when they went aggressive.
Exactly.
Same with Navi. Everybody is like,
Insane, right?
oh, they're going to be slow, and then they just turn on the aggression. It's like, oh.
They're actually one of the rare Russian teams that know to do it.
Well,
but only when they feel it's a chance. I'm not sure about this because they actually don't know what ROX can do on Lakeville. They usually do that aggression when they predict what will the other team do.
This is going to be quite an interesting testing point for both teams, and we really do have quite a unique balance here. We're going to find out. Melly, the people at home must be losing their minds, because how do they predict this? How can they make a vote when it's so close at the moment?
Well, it's not over yet, so they still have time to get involved or get their predictions right. Well, currently it's still 84% for Virtus.PRO, therefore 16% for Tornado ROX. And when I look into the entries, like in the proper scoreline predictions, I see a lot of 5-2 predictions. So this should be a clear one coming from the community, which surprises me, to be honest.
Yeah, considering the community lost a little faith in Virtus.PRO, didn't they? Throughout the online season, it was a lot less. But now coming to the offline, it's like, screw Tornado ROX. They only finished second. You know, who cares about those guys?
I mean, Virtus.PRO, the routineers, and Tornado ROX haven't had their offline appearance yet. Like,
maybe after the
pretty
Penta
much
game,
their
they're like,
first time.
We're not going for the favorite anymore. Let's go for the underdog.
So the irony being, the last time they met, Ruenberg was the first map played, and it was a 3-1 in favour to Virtus.PRO. And then they saw the comeback from ROX in the last 2 maps. And in the end, of course, it went Virtus.PRO's way at 5-4. But still, you'd assume, looking at that, it should be a closer game. But the people out there, they don't give a damn at all about this. But if they were to get some more votes in or just some predictions?
Well, as soon as the second map starts, that's how much time you got left, because then our vote will shut down. So get involved, head over to our Facebook page. And actually, our meme contest is finally
Oh, is there
live.
some dank memes?
Not yet.
Dacky gets
because
excited by dank memes.
started. I mean, I already saw some on Twitter. That's another way of getting involved, using the hashtag WGLEU to send us your memes, fan art, and whatever. But if you do it on our Facebook app, which is pretty much on my screen, I could show you right now. This is our beautiful Facebook page. You should go over there and like it to stay updated during the season. The next season will come. So, also new information all, and this is our meme contest. So information are in here, and here is the prize pool as well. So we have a WGL AMX and some Logitech loot. So it's definitely worth getting involved. You just have to click on this picture, then you will get forwarded to an app where you can upload your meme. And please keep in mind, the meme has to contain one of our faces, one of the players' faces, or one of the casters' faces.
And it's a family show, of course.
And it's a family show. Don't forget that one. So get, well, our casters, analysts, hosts, players in one of those memes, and which qualifies you to take part in this giveaway. And you saw the prizes. I mean, I don't have to repeat that. Also, 100 bonus codes given out randomly amongst every participant. So there is a chance of you winning. And also our Logitech raffle. Don't forget it. ESL.gg/Logitech raffle. Just sign up. Invite your friends maybe to polish up your chances. But yes, you can win a lot of good gaming gear, as you just see. And people get involved. It's definitely worth it. 3 Type 59s. Just saying. Just leaving it out there.
Just throwing it out.
Yeah.
Just letting them know what's up.
Exactly.
All right. So we've had the chat about memes, and I think we have to hear from the dankest of memers. It's Ollie and it's Mitch.
Yeah, that's what we're all about over here, of course. Nothing but the most high-quality memes from the Habanero brothers here. Thank you, of course, you guys, for breaking that one down for us. And if you just joined us, my name is Mitch Leslie. I'm here with Oliver Maxfield, and we are halfway through, or potentially halfway through, this best of 9 game. It's 2-2 on Ruinberg now, and we're moving on to the map again of Lakeville.
Yeah, Lakeville totally, and we don't really know what's going to come up. Virtus.PRO haven't played it this season. ROX haven't played it this season. So we got a completely clean play, almost like the Penta Sports versus Team Supreme game, where they really hadn't played it that much before. But yeah, this is going to be totally interesting because, you know, we haven't seen them play it before.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we did with Ruinberg, it's time for your refresher course into Lakeville.
Lakeville, a big summertime map of mixed type. The map can be divided into 3 parts: the town, the canyon, and the road. The teams start the battle on the opposite sides of the town. One of the bases is located right near the defending team's spawn, the other one, the bottom of the canyon. Attacks are usually executed through one of the flanks. However, the central pass is also very important. You can get great recon from there. Both heavy and light tanks are commonly brought to Lakeville.
Here we go into Lakeville. It is 2-2. It is an even ledger right now, and it's time for these two teams, or at least one of them, to put their head out in front. ROX are on the attacking side, and Kopolika already making that first scouting push.
Yeah, I think the team that goes most aggressive is actually going to win this one. I think the analysis desk was definitely spot on. When you don't know what the other team's going to do, playing the standard stuff is what you practice against. You know, you practice what every other team has done on this map before, and that's, you know, some aggression, some not so much aggression. So you can see already Virtus.PRO are taking that advice and pushing straight over towards that left side, and they will be able to find 2 tanks, or at least 1 AMX 1390. But 2 IS-3s are slowly trundling their way up from the north.
This might work against Virtus.PRO. It's something different, something a little bit new here. But with the 2 IS-3s from ROX right at the back, this might actually be able to get a lot of free damage down towards Virtus.PRO as they push through. Crespix is their target right now, but he can stay safe for the most part. Pavel realizes, okay, boys, there's actually a few more big tanks here than we first thought. I don't know if those IS-3s are lit yet, but they are going to be in just a moment here. Virtus.PRO pulling back.
Here's the thing, though. If the light tanks of Virtus.PRO spot the IS-3s, the heavy tanks from Virtus.PRO can just push that eastern side, and they can just absolutely destroy the 2 or 3 tanks that are sitting there, that especially that one just sitting on its own all the way to that right side. So, you know, if Virtus.PRO react quickly enough, they definitely could walk away in an advantageous position.
They've taken a lot of damage, though. Just Cos is down quite low. Karit's now taking a hit. Povel's taking a fair bit of damage as well. For that push, Virtus.PRO have paid dearly, but the health points are still in the balance. Quite close here. Again, shot after shot, ringing in towards their southern cap, and the most part of Tornado ROX have moved their forces in towards this valley. It's a race against time, of course, with Virtus.PRO as well. They're pushing in towards the city. They're looking for Positive, who is sitting pretty behind the church for at least the moment here. He's staying safe. Virtus.PRO haven't been able to bring the sting in his direction. Shots coming out from the middle of the map. Coca-Cola does take a shot from a 1390. Virtus.PRO don't really know where to go at the moment.
This is East versus West race, and Virtus.PRO definitely losing it. They're taking so long to take down Positive that you can see Tornado ROX are basically in the cap already. There's only that T-54 and the T-37 there to actually get the decap on, so they really need to kill Positive and make the decision, do we go back to base or do we look for more Tornado ROX tanks?
Breakneck here will get the finish on towards Positive. Good little adaptation, moving the 1390 around, but the Armageddon and the Annihilator are on the cap. Povel is going to take down Captonica in the middle there, as Walson's just trying to harass him there with that autoloader. He will go down. He's on fire as well. That definitely doesn't help things out. He will still get the finishing shot towards Povel, but he'll have to limp away with only a very small amount of health points left.
Yeah, obviously full firefighting crews on these guys' tanks, so he does manage to survive. No, he doesn't. Bishop takes care of him, and this is still going Tornado ROX's way because they have to unroute these 3 tanks sitting in the cap, but Virtus.PRO have managed to retract very quickly. Zik takes down Karit. That's made it a little bit harder.
Tornado ROX have a good setup on this cap side. You can see Zik, the Annihilator, the Armageddon, they're all there. Zik blocking as well, and Crespix from the side. They have good angles towards the advancing force of Virtus.PRO. Virtus.PRO, though, have the health point advantage, but for how much longer? That is how much longer. It is back and forth right now, and Zik does get taken down. The reset hasn't been completed yet. The Armageddon, he's the man with the cap points, and it's got to be done. Tornado ROX get it done in stunning style. They complete the capture on that western cap with just those 2 IS-3s, and Virtus.PRO are probably wondering exactly what just happened.
Yeah, West versus East, and you could see the IS-3s are in there. Zik did a great job actually blocking for those 2 IS-3s, and you have that rock as well towards the left side, which provides kind of anti-flanking characteristics there for Tornado ROX. So they just sit behind the T-54 lightweight. IS-3s really bounce a lot from the side, so the only option Virtus.PRO really had was the top shots onto the IS-3's turrets. I think Virtus.PRO, like Team Supreme, too cautious. They should have just pushed in. I mean, you could see at the beginning, they sent Karit in the T-37, trying to get the reset, trying to get behind. But if they just gone in first with the IS-3s and the T-54, they would have been in a situation where you have an 11 seconds window for Karit just to sneak behind the capping IS-3s and get the resets from the side or the back of them. That didn't happen, and Tornado ROX could just play the safety game, sitting in a kind of a long tribune of tanks.
So you said Virtus.PRO spotted out most of Tornado ROX's force in the valley, and you said, yeah, they should sort of push their tanks into the city and get that overmatch. But that almost seems like that was what unraveled them here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing is, again, you know, Virtus.PRO is slightly too slow in that eastern city, and I think if they had a little bit more time to play around with, they would have got the reset 100%. Zik goes down, and then you do have a shot about 1.5, 2 seconds maybe after the base has been captured. Of course, you got a little bit of time till the game is ended, but you just can't rely on an AMX 3090 and an IS-3 to get shots or penetrate even the front of another IS-3, just simply because it cannot work out for you. So you need to be in a situation where you get the reset 100%, regardless if you die, regardless what happens after that, because at least you have the rest of your tanks to play around with, and you know, you can actually have a bit of breathing room. So yeah, great round there by Tornado ROX. As you mentioned, Virtus.PRO going into that western side, I don't think it unraveled them entirely. Breakneck maybe sitting behind that rock in the T-54 lightweight was a bit of a mistake, as he did go down to some sniping shots of the IS-3s, but that was very, very ballsy from Tornado ROX, sending 2 slow Russian tanks through that western side, basically gifting Virtus.PRO 2 or 3 minutes on the clock to cancel out those 2 tanks and do whatever they want on the map.
And Virtus.PRO pushed so much in towards that valley, they had to back away, of course. They sent their lighter tanks there. Maybe they were hoping to get an early flank on Tornado ROX and shake things up for them, but it wasn't a possibility at that time. Great spread there from Tornado ROX, and they've started things off well with an attacking round win on Lakeville. That's been the first round we've seen from both of these teams this season on that map. So far, Tornado ROX are looking very good. On your screen there's Kusok, stony faced as always. He definitely is a secondary caller alongside Karitz there. Hard to know who's the captain of the team sometimes between those two. Let's hope that they can speak with one voice though, and make sure communication comes through clear here as Crespix yet again doing his thing. This time on a 1390 though. So he's going to go out for a little bit of a scouting run, but he does take a bit of damage. Virtus.PRO pushing early.
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted from Virtus.PRO, just aggression right off the bat, going in and really just putting some pressure straight onto Tornado ROX and make sure they can't reset into any kind of normal move. And they've also, utilized the fact that the Armageddon's playing artillery to their advantage by sitting in that eastern side, not wanting to be in a position where they can get shot in clearly open positions by that artillery. So good play here by Virtus.PRO. Good damage there onto Vortic as well in the MX 1390. So this is the start they wanted, especially, as you mentioned, Crispix is stuck between a rock and a hard place, but Breakneck in trouble.
That's what he's getting pushed onto by 254 lightweights here. Breakneck just trying to do some damage, and he does. He's actually getting out fairly scot-free at the moment. He is still alive. He's backed around the corner, and he's forced Tornado ROX to commit to that middle part of the map if they want to try and get rid of that 1390. So Breakneck cheekily just going to sit back, and Kusok now is going to come and try and bring the big guns here. The Annihilator and Positive have to respond to this one. They poke out. One shot connects, one shot bounces. Kapolika, Captolica as well. A lot of damage towards him. And Virtus.PRO have got the right guns in the right places right now, and the shells are also connecting, an important factor if I've ever heard one. Kusok does go down, but Just Cause responds almost immediately on towards Vorsic here, and Tornado ROX are getting annihilated.
They're trying to go for a city engagement against IS-3s, which is exactly the wrong thing you want to do. Those IS-3s just do so much damage, they bounce. They're just absolute beasts, and Tornado ROX are learning that lesson very, very badly right now.
Bishop just hanging around the corner. Crespix does get finished off here. The Annihilator, well, he's almost on his own. It's just him and the Armageddon here. There's not a whole lot he could do with these two tanks except just wait and accept your fate, essentially. As Bishop goes looking for him there, he will pick him up, and it's just the artillery of the Armageddon left, trying to buy some time at least, maybe even get a cheeky kill. Really cannot do much from this position at all. Just Cause will round the corner and look for him there. He will get taken down. Quick fingers and make for light work. And Virtus.PRO make it 3-3.
Yeah, so back and forwards between those teams. They've both won a round each since we were on Ruinberg round one. So, I mean, we can have closer games. Simply what happened there was that Virtus.PRO seemed to put pressure on Tornado ROX right at the beginning. Crespix being locked down behind that rock obviously put the spanner in the works. Tornado didn't know what to do with it. And then you had a really weird situation where Tornado sent their 3 light tanks in to try and take down Breakneck. If they had successfully managed to do that and Breakneck died, then they would have been in an advantageous position. They could have just run away. But even with Breakneck dying, if they had decided to continue pushing and trying to go for those engagements against the IS-3s, there's just no way they could win. Tornado just needed to say, okay, the Armageddon's lost because Virtus.PRO is being aggressive. Let's immediately swing our light tanks into a different position, try and get the T-54s hull down the middle, or go for that western side, because you're simply not going to win unless you're very, very sneaky, and Virtus.PRO leaves an alley of attack open against those IS-3s and city engagements.
Like you said, as I said, Virtus.PRO stronger in that cityscape with that heavier composition here. But was it possible for Tornado ROX to pull out? Could they have escaped from that city? You saw Virtus.PRO push up the battle lines very far forward very early in that round.
Well, the thing is, Tornado ROX made the first damaging move against Breakneck. As soon as that happened, there's just no way Tornado ROX could actually do anything. They couldn't reverse. They were committed to that situation, and it wasn't going to work out for them. I mean, Just Cause did 1.9k damage, Breakneck did 1.5k, so not the IS-3s. But you could see when Kusok pushed in between these two houses, he was on his own versus 3 other tanks. The rest of his team were a little bit behind, kind of playing a very passive role when they should have been aggressive. But he still survived for so long that when his team did get into it, it was just shooting fish in a barrel. And you can see Virtus.PRO 2.8k ahead, 2 tanks left on the game, and of course, the Armageddon, not a combat tank in the artillery. Yeah, that was a pretty simple game, and Virtus.PRO had everything going their way from the start.
It's funny, as we obviously see ROX on the screen here, to talk about Virtus.PRO and the way that they've changed as a team. The little burst of aggression coming out from Kusok there is something that we're only just starting to see from Virtus.PRO as they've adapted and changed, especially him as a person as well. On that note, a lot more jovial. He's definitely come out of his shell in his time in the WGL, especially in the time that we've known him here. but it's interesting more so to see how that has translated into the way his team plays, the calls that he makes. Virtus.PRO lacked that killer instinct. You know, that's what really hurt them in the past, playing too slow, too ponderously. But here, you know, they brought their A game. They're feeling confident in coming forward, and that's the man on your screen right now. Kusok's been in the WGL for definitely as long as I can remember, leading his team along with Karitz, and he's done a fantastic job of it. You know, very well spoken. English not his first language, but he's incredibly social. You know, and it definitely helps keep his team's morale high. Yeah. The problem is when, you know, things get tough and, you know, it can be hard to not till, especially Kusok can get a bit frustrated.
It's super weird because I remember when we played the first World Tanks Pro League, he just wasn't social at all. He wasn't outgoing. He wasn't confident. He was a heavy-set lad, and he was quiet. He was, you know, definitely not the same man. And as we've seen him through the season over the years, he's just become a totally different person, and definitely a better person than he was before. And yeah, okay, the results for Virtus.PRO have been mixed, but overall, I mean, they've been a top 3 team at the worst of times since those early days. So they are at the moment head-to-head, even Stevens against Tornado ROX. I think, to be honest, they've been playing the slightly better tank. So I would say even if they just keep the slight edge they have, maybe the 1 or 2%, they will be able to pick up this next round and even one after that potentially.
Well, here we go now into round number 7. It is still even after the 2-2. Ruenberg now 3-3. Virtus.PRO, though, have moved on to the attacking side now. And the Object 416 of Coca-Cola may be an important pivot point right here. Great tank at range, not so great right up close here. And he's going to try and hold things down here on this middle road next to the river, see what he can do with that one. Zik also in an Object 416, defensively can work very nicely here. It's not often, though, that we see both teams taking one.
No, and it's not often we see the attacking side actually pick up so many heavier tanks. I mean, a T-32 double IS-3, 5100, and they've also got a 416 of their own, a T-54 lightweight and Karitz in that T-37. I mean, Karitz is the only normal thing there in that T-37, so yeah, obviously Virtus.PRO going for that right side. They got the 416 in the middle, and yeah, I'm super surprised by this. I mean, since the beginning of time, Virtus.PRO have been massive fans of the T-32. Back in the days played by Kusok, now played by Breakneck. But it's going to be a very, very hard battle here for Virtus.PRO, but they need to sneak their way forwards. They got the perfect tank in the middle in the 416. If he finds even the slightest angle, the M63, 320 damage will start to pound into the side of Tornado ROX and really start to provide some pain to them. But Tornado are starting to move. Kapalika and Zik want that middle area.
That's right, they're going to try and get rid of that 416. He was keeping Crespi completely pinned down, but here's the main push of Tornado ROX. They're sending that spearhead of IS-3s in, but to what cost? The Armageddon gets 667 damage shaved off of him. Almost the same amount off of Breakneck, though. He's getting completely focused down, and he will drop. Kusok now backing up, getting the back pedal on there, and then IS-3. He's taking a bit of damage. He gets tracked up, forced to repair it immediately to try and get away from the attack of Tornado ROX. Virtus.PRO just want to guide this assault, guide Tornado ROX into some kind of set play, but no, things aren't working the way they thought. There's shots coming in from the side there, and Virtus.PRO are getting attacked on 2 fronts. They're being boxed in here, and Positive continues to come forward, chomping at the bit to put damage towards Virtus.PRO. Virtus.PRO trying to turtle up as much as they possibly can here. Good damage is being done to Tornado ROX, though. That is a fact, and Zik now is about to get jumped on by the middle. He was going to go looking for the 416, but now he is being hunted, and Coca-Cola and Crete would love to have him for breakfast.
The thing is, Virtus.PRO are playing very good individually, and that's why they definitely saved the day here. Zik, though, in a lot of trouble versus these two.
Right, look at that. There's only so much you can do in that 416. He's just going to get pushed up against the wall and dispatched of Tornado ROX with 1,694 health points to work with. That's not a lot by any stretch. But Coca-Cola gets the team kill on towards Just Cause as well. That's not really helpful, but still, with a 5v5, Tornado ROX have the deficit of health points here. That is an important factor. Coca-Cola, cheeky little shot on the move towards Vorsen, will connect. Now, you can see Kusok. You can see Bishop backing up. They know there's a big force of tanks towards them. They still have a lot of guns in that local overmatch. And Povel trying to hold on, but he gets taken down by the Armageddon. Now Kusok, will he get the finish on the Annihilator? This might cost him here. A double tap will send him packing, and it could turn things on its head for Virtus.PRO right now. He's just trying to keep Bishop alive. They are both very, very low. Good idea for them to back away and load to fight another day. There's some shots coming in from Virtus.PRO that can be made. Karitz as well, not far from Vorsen, just around the corner as Karitz gets the finish towards Crespix. There's Vorsen, he goes down, and the cavalry has well and truly arrived for Virtus.PRO, thinning out the numbers of Tornado ROX. Only those 3 IS-3s to work with.
It was all about Karitz in that situation. He was the most expendable tank, and he had the most HP for his tank. So he went in, got the one kill he needed. Coca-Cola got the second one. Great backup by him. Perfect little execution by those two. Great combination. Great communication. I think Virtus.PRO played this really well around the corners. It's not over yet, but 4 versus 3, every single tank on Tornado ROX a one-shot, and 1 isn't a one-shot for Virtus.PRO. Coca-Cola, of course, in that 4-1-6, but Virtus are on the attack. They do need to go forwards. They do need to win this one, but Tornado ROX do seem a little bit itchy. They want to perhaps edge their way forwards.
Tornado ROX definitely not looking comfortable in this position, definitely not where they'd like to find themselves here. It's a very interesting stalemate between Bishop and the Annihilator here as well, and we can see an IS-3 from Tornado ROX is trying to flank. To cut down Bishop could be the start of things here for Tornado ROX to keep themselves in this game. Coca-Cola, though, looking for Positive. Positive is staying well and truly behind the hull of that dead tank there, just for safety, to protect his weaker parts of his tank. Here's great hull down there. Look at the T-32 and a 1390 there, just to give him some cover. Coca-Cola will be hard-pressed to try and find him. Might look for a Cupola here, but it's hard to hit that on the IS-3.
Yeah, but you got the cap underway. That's the logical move there from Virtus.PRO. They feel like they got the defensive positions to be able to deal with any push from Tornado ROX to go towards the cap, especially considering Kusok is in a side-scraping place where his IS-3 can go left. He can shoot any tanks that comes up from the left, and he can side-scrape to the right and shoot any tanks that comes up from the right. So good position here by Virtus.PRO. This is, very normal for that team. They like to slow it down, and they don't go for the obvious thing all the time. Even though they are at an advantage, they know that perhaps statistically it's better off for them to go for the cap and put the pressure and force Tornado ROX to come forwards onto them.
Fantastic decision to make in the IS-3s with only 330 meters of view range. A hard press to try and see these enemy tanks. In fact, they can't. Positive just made a blind shot towards the cap. They're hoping to catch on to one of those tanks who was ticking that timer on down. Bishop is lit. He goes down. The Armageddon will pick him up, but he was just sitting forward. He was just really a wrench in the cogs for a Tornado ROX right now, and the real focus is over on the cap. These IS-3s have to hot-foot it. There's no doubt about it. Positive still looking in the wrong direction here. Maybe thinking another Verse tank is sitting back, but the cap is underway, and Karitz was the one with all the points, and he's being shielded right now by the IS-3 and the 416. And Virtus.PRO, absolutely centimetre perfect execution on this one. They made the correct choice under a great deal of pressure, and that's a well-deserved 4th round coming up for the Bears.
And we can hear them from the casting studio. They're obviously just in front of us, but the shout there from Virtus.PRO was something to behold. The Bears just giving out a roar as they do pick up the 2nd round now in a row against Tornado ROX. They are starting to edge ahead. They are pretty much just playing great set of tanks, almost on match point now. And, every single part of their strategy worked. Coca-Cola in that 416, the damage dealer, did damage, 2.3k. He was just an absolute beast. Of course, a man who joined us in Virtus.PRO relatively recently, definitely performing. And, definitely a guy you have to keep your eyes on as we do go through this one. Bishop, 2nd place, 1.9k, and Zik in 416 as well, 1.6k. But at the end of the day, Virtus.PRO just playing it perfectly. They had the heavier tanks. They went for the engagements around the corner. But the super interesting fact was that Tornado ROX stopped in their tracks. They were very worried about what the 416 and the T-37, which was sitting in the middle for Virtus.PRO, would do if they went around this corner. But I think that was the biggest mistake, because A, they didn't kill any of the tanks backpedaling, which is just not good, and B, they didn't just finish it off. They didn't just go for the peaks like they are now.
The 37 and the 4-1 and the 416 were on the move as well, so not so easy to make those shots, or at least reliably do so. And of course, Tornado ROX actually had the advantage. The reason why Virtus.PRO were backpedaling is because Zik was getting the side shots into them. They had no protection, but it was such a perfect response for Karitz and Coca-Cola to go barreling down that middle road, to find Zik, to take out the Tornado ROX 416, and then to push in on their own. That was really, really good instinctive play. In the last round, Virtus.PRO suffered because they were too slow to make a decision. It looks like they've alleviated that issue, at least in that last round.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and Tornado ROX needs to stabilize now. I think that's what will be going through their heads. They at least want to bring this up to a tiebreaker, which of course Lakeville, semi-finals are Lakeville, finals are Himmelsdorf, so this is the most important round for both teams. Virtus.PRO will obviously be loving to walk away with this match as a 5-3 scoreline, and of course Tornado ROX will be wanting to continue their fight. And to be honest, a better showing than Team Supreme has. Two teams that are almost completely different. Tornado ROX, a brand new team, cobbled together from Gold Series teams, cobbled together from some of the Silver Series players, and all seem to be meshing very well. And Vortic, who's the man second to your left, I've never seen him so calm before. I've seen him in Red Rush Unity, now known as Hellraisers, and I've seen him in Virtus.PRO. I've never seen him with a more comfortable set of guys around him.
He definitely seems to have much more of an air of seniority now as well. He's been around for a long time. A lot of these guys from Tornado ROX, some of them are veterans, some are quite new to the to the offline or the competitive water tank scene here. So he's holding them together like glue, but he must hold on tighter now as Virtus.PRO bring that match point up. Their attack has been good so far. One more round will seal the deal for the Bears and take this one out. But they've got to get it done convincingly right now. They've had some good adaptations, but see the T-32 of Breakneck leading the charge. They're moving up in towards the city, and so are Tornado ROX.
This is going to be a really classic El Clasico kind of shootout in the city area, and whoever just has the better ability around the corners and plays those IS-3s better will walk away with it. You've also got the AMX 3090 there for Tornado ROX on that left side. But Virtus.PRO, they have to be careful because, in my opinion, when I play Lakeville, I much prefer to be around that southern side because you can play from the left, you can play from the right, whereas the attacking side, if they peek around the church, you can get shot from the middle.
That's right. There's control of the middle road, and Tornado ROX do have it right now. Karitz is going to be jumped on in just a second. Kapolika and Crespix are going to come barreling in towards him there. Karitz can only just hold on right now. He doesn't have the 416 with him. And those two tanks from Tornado ROX are doing their best to keep themselves safe from any fire coming in. Kapolika is still half health though, but here's the push in the middle of the map. Kusok is coming forward. He's always leading the charge, this man. He's out for blood, and he definitely wants it more than Tornado ROX right now. It definitely seems that way. Positive is low, down to a one shot. The Armageddon down towards half health. Kusok does put him out of his misery, but now Bishop is low. Forced trying to get a cheeky little flank, but he gets triple shot down. Coca-Cola will pick him up here. Virtus.PRO, they're marching forwards right now, and Coca-Cola's looking for Annihilator here. Object 416, not great at close quarters, but he's still making the best of this situation now as Just Cause will come in. The Annihilator is going to go down. Virtus.PRO up by about a K hit points at least. 6v3. They're going to do it. They're going to send Tornado ROX packing. They're inches from making this happen into the final.
Tornado ROX might as well go and pack their bags and head back to the hotel because Virtus.PRO are just so clearly ahead. Zik will go down in a matter of seconds, leaving only Crespix and Kopaleka left.
All right, well, yeah, exactly. Kapolika and Crespix are the last two standing. Kapolika's in nothing but a T-37. All he can do is sit back and watch as his mate Crespix. He is split. He is cut off from his teammate. And even if he was with him, there's only so much he could possibly do. Crespix is trying his hardest to dig his claws in and hang on and do some damage, but it's not going to be enough. He's down to 347 points of health, and Coca-Cola is looking for the finish shot. He is inexorably being chased down, and Crespix has to weigh by to his chances at the final, as the rest of Tornado ROX do, because Virtus.PRO have made it.
Virtus.PRO just being absolutely dominant throughout the whole of that one, going aggressive, doing exactly what the analysis desk did, exactly what they wanted to, just going forwards, making the plays, making sure that they're the ones always putting the pressure on the other team, and it works out perfectly. 5-3 scoreline. That's unbelievable. That team, Virtus.PRO, started off the season very badly. They've just been getting better and better, and in that pre-playoff stage, they really did find themselves, and a deserved win for sure. I have to say Kusok, definitely a man of the match, just an absolute beast, and Tornado ROX, a great first season showing for them, absolutely fantastic. I don't think they can actually hang their heads because they have done so much work.
Just Cause there. First, across the gap, think about some handshakes, and yes, there's emotion amongst Virtus.PRO, but there's definitely a sense that they are not done here yet. With their sights set on that final, they're looking for it. You see Bishop as well on your screen there. Always a rock for Virtus.PRO. Always so consistent in his play and holding things down. But I mean, Kusok has just been a firebrand for Virtus.PRO over this season. What a great game from him. He starts the pushes. He is the aggressor. And Virtus.PRO channel that aggression so well.
It's funny because at the beginning of the season, one of my main points was that maybe because Kusok wasn't performing individually as a player, that's the reason why Virtus.PRO wasn't doing well as a team, because they had Kusok and they had Karitz, who both weren't, stepping up to the mark like you had your Just Causes and your Breaknecks, and Pavel, not so much this season, but in previous seasons past. So the fact that Kusok is actually the highest damage dealer in those heavy tanks in season 1 2015-16 has been such a big indicator and such a big leader for his team. The one that's saying, okay, I've got the stats to actually back up my my tactics and my plans. And Karitz as well, he's not been dying like he was in season 5 in the first few seconds. He's been staying alive and he's been doing his job. Fantastic work.
He's held down things so well, of course. Karitz, as captain and caller playing those light tanks, always makes his presence known. But that's enough for us. Virtus.PRO have made it through to the grand final to face off against familiar opposition in Penta. But it's time to pass to our experts, all of them, for their breakdown on this match.
Thank you so much, guys. And what a great game to define the end of that one. We saw the kind of extremes of these two teams. We saw that not only could ROX put up a really quite admirable performance on the first map, but then map 2, we saw the danger that can be Virtus.PRO. The Virtus.PRO plow came out to play, should I say. Your thoughts on that map there? It looked close at times, but they just always seem to have the upper hand.
Virtus obviously planned a bit better, and I would say read ROX moves much better.
Daki?
They tried aggression in the first round as well, where they tried to push 1-2 line. It didn't work out, but they didn't stop with that. They tried again, and they tried again, and they tried again, and it worked. Like we predicted, if you go aggressive, you will win. And they kept going aggressive, and they made some really good decisions, some really good individual plays. Everybody was on par. Karitz did his job. Kusok did his job, which was a big issue for them.
That is the most emotional I've seen Kusok in a while. Normally, he's the most typically stoic-looking man you'll ever see. Just, you know, deadpan to the world. You know, even in the team interviews, very quiet, very, you know, controlled,
well,
disciplined.
There, the first time they win in like 2 seasons, their first match where they play at land instead they actually win. They seem like a really motivated team now.
Yeah, and it means a big difference to those boys. But let's take a look back towards at least round 1, where it started to go well there for Virtus.PRO. We can have a look back at the replay, and we can take us through this moment here, because this was a very good start coming out.
This was really nice for ROX. Virtus tried some tactics that mainly was used in European season from Kazna, splitting lights through the canyon, 3 heavies defending. But ROX was prepared. They were walking them around, they pushed them with heavies, and eventually, after all that, they just managed to cap with cover of the 54. Now, the key issue here was not what actually happened here. The key issue was the Ice Tree City from ROX stayed alive all this time, making sure that he was keeping the tanks away. So when Virtus actually wanted to come back to DKIP, it was already too late.
And the 3090 was set up to shoot Bishop in the side, tracked Bishop, Bishop couldn't get back to the reset, Zik was blocking, so that was really well played out by ROX. But Virtus tried something, didn't work out. I mean, at least give kudos to them for actually trying. It's better than just sitting there.
Correct, and then they persevered into round 2, and we saw something that we used to know Virtus.PRO quite highly for, was their real focus fire in those brawls, and you saw it quite poignantly in round 2 here, and there was a couple of errors actually from ROX as well. Maybe that inexperience in these environments slightly showing through.
You can see how Virtus is just using the cover and peeking as a team, making sure that nobody dies. Maybe Kuso goes down, but Breakneck's still alive on low HP, and they're all peeking together. They're all taking the damage. They're all focusing one target, and ROX was just caught in the open, and they didn't know what to do. Crespis comes in too late, and it's just 1 by 1, and they just keep going in. They don't stop. That's some real aggression and good focus fire, and especially everybody staying alive. That's one of the best things they always do.
The fact before was Navi always had the best focus fire on Russian server, Virtus on European. It was a fact until the last season when Kazna literally broke Virtus in half.
Well, they've started to regain some control, but it's the first time in a while we're actually going to see Virtus.PRO have a real chance towards the finals now, because normally they come into the second day of the tournament, they play 1 game, it's a little disappointing, and they end up going home. Finally, they have the opportunity, but they're against Penta, not an opponent I can imagine they thought they'd be meeting. Do you think that's going to affect anything here, Mojo?
No, definitely. I don't think they actually planned this for Penta. No. And they will definitely look into the matches Penta did, so they don't put another Joker out to the head or something.
They will prepare, they will watch that Virtus. But I think for Virtus, the main thing is, like, next season, just lose a few games, guys. You know, like, don't go as favorites anymore. Just go as the underdog, have a hard match, get into the LAN, and it actually works out for them. Less pressure. It did seem like they were playing more relaxed in an open environment, and just happy when they're winning, high fives all around.
Yep. And the man who, well, highlighted that for me personally was Kusok at the end, and he had a very big performance in this last round coming through.
He just goes in, like, he doesn't care. He just wants to go in because Karitz dies in the middle. He instantly tells to his team, there's a 1390 in the middle, just go in. Forsley makes a mistake here and gets picked off, and they just keep pushing. They don't stop anymore. That was really good. The snap call from Karitz to just go in because there's 2 guys out of the fire, and they just managed to isolate ROX's tank 1 by 1 and pick them off. And
you can see the positional play they have. They were prepared to push as a single unit somewhere as soon as anyone is spotted away. Focus fire of superior number of guns.
Well, we now know our 2 finalists, and I cannot wait for that one. Of course, that's going to be turned into, if I'm not mistaken, a best of 13. So we're going to actually see a lot longer match coming into this, so that might be playing a factor. But let's remind you at home, in case you've missed any of the games, how it's gone down today. That first matchup certainly will turn some heads. If you weren't watching the game and it was on your second monitor, you can have a little bit of a neck snap coming into this one as Penta 5-1 Supreme. Just unreal stuff there from them. And I don't know what to make of this final, if I'm honest. It was the two teams I didn't actually expect to get there, for one.
This is the final I was actually hoping to see.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the final of the unexpected.
Final of the unexpected.
No, I actually expected Virtus to win here, but Penta was wild card we were hoping for. And this will be quite interesting match now. We saw they play similar. It's even when Virtus plays aggressive, it's actually thoughtful aggressiveness. They're prepared what to do, but what do you prepare against Penta?
But if there's one team that doesn't get called a lot by traps, then it is Virtus.
It's a good point. That's the biggest thing in my mind, is that Virtus.PRO are normally so calculated. That may be a factor. We'll break that down in a moment, I can imagine. Let's wait to really dive into those finals, because we will be doing that. But you guys at home, I know why you're watching. It's not for us. It's not even for the games. It's for the goodies. Melly, how are the goodies doing over there? Have you given away the mice yet, or are you still keeping them close in the way?
They're still all mine, but people at home are doing a great job of actually getting to them. So all the winners will be notified via email after the event. So don't worry, team votes also take their time to get the resolutions, and there are little as you said, processes to went through until we find the winners. Don't worry if you don't get a notification right after you voted. That's normal. So you will get your bonus code if you did well. Don't worry. And we do have a lot of other contests up. We have the meme contest. We have the fan art contest. And now, after we saw all teams playing, we have the MVP contest. We will crown Logitech MVP after the event, and pretty much, well, you guys at home will crown him. Head over to our Facebook page. We could actually do that together. Head over to our Facebook page, and the very first posting on our page is the Logitech MVP voting. So get involved by simply clicking on that picture. Then you get forwarded to our Facebook app, where you can where you can propose your very personal MVP, and the player with the most votes and votes will get crowned as Logitech MVP after the finals. And in the process of that, you can also win awesome stuff like bonus codes, of course. And we're giving out around 100 bonus codes. And
generous.
Might steal some of those from my own.
Yeah, it's probably down to about 80 by now.
Yeah.
We've been, taking a couple
and
away.
We went from 5 Logitech mouses to 3 because
exactly, and mouse
I think you got the numbers
so
straight, Melly, definitely.
Yeah, it's like Ollie. He doesn't understand the
saying.
stats. Yeah, too many.
The numbers are wrong.
They're wrong.
They're
We've
wrong
taken some.
numbers. So what? Well, whatever. keep to your business. I'm still trying to tell you guys what all the nice contests we have and where you can win prizes. Just ignore them. They're weird sometimes, but you know that. You're not new to us.
You're always nice to us when you're not on camera,
yes,
Melly.
The Logitech raffle we have. ESL.gg/Logitech raffle. Get involved, sign up, and invite your friends for a better chance of getting, chosen in the lottery.
Oh, don't smile at us now. Don't do this. You're like throwing us under the bus.
Oh, that's not for you guys. We're trying to get me out of concept.
She's giving us the look. Just wait till the camera goes off, guys.
Exactly.
Yes. I'm always smiling. I can't look bad. I can't.
Help us. We'll just hold up signs saying, save us from Melly, just when she's not looking. I wouldn't trust her. But no, the one thing you can trust is there are a lot of goodies, and she is the controller.
It's crazy. So the team vote for the next match will be up soon. The fan art contest, the meme contest, the Logitech raffle, and the MVP contest. And use the hashtag WGLU to get everything else through us, which is not, set up through our contests anyways. So people, we love reading from you, and we love you. I love you. You guys, I'm not sure, but I love you.
I love you, Pansy. It's okay.
Thanks, man. I love you too.
You're so full of love.
Leave Melly out on her own. It's all right, Melly. Don't worry about it. Anyway, guys, while we're feeling the love on the desk, we're going to go to a very short break. And when we're back, it's going to be none other than the grand finals. It's going to be Penta up against Virtus.PRO. And it's going to be one you do not want to miss.